So how does national insurance contributions affect apprenticeship salaries then, Dave?
Well, national insurance contribution, the employer's national insurance contributions, the amount that you're paying alongside your apprentice's salary, for the first year of an apprenticeship, there are no employer national insurance contributions. So if you are paying someone the apprenticeship minimum wage, then you will be paying them the £14,700 a year in terms of salary as a minimum, but there isn't any requirement to pay employers' national insurance contributions alongside that. Now, what that means is that if you look at the cost of employing someone who is paying you're paying them the national minimum wage, the cost of their salary plus national insurance contributions is between £26,000 to £27,000 a year. You then go to an apprentice that is earning the apprenticeship wage, then they're earning £14,700, roughly around that per year. Now that is a saving of between £11,000 and £12,000.
It's a big saving.
It's a huge saving. Now that does rely on, you would be paying someone national minimum wage versus national apprenticeship minimum wage, and most employers that we work with tend to pay people above those rates. So if someone is entitled to the national minimum wage, they'll usually be paid slightly more. If someone is entitled to the apprenticeship minimum wage, they'd usually be paid slightly more. But every time we see these minimums increasing, you tend to see the salaries just on top of them increasing slightly as well. So I think even if you're paying someone slightly more than either of those two things, it's going to be an equivalent sort of cost saving. So there's a considerable amount of cost you can save if you're looking at apprentices as part of your workforce. There's also the funded training that comes with it. I would say that if you're looking at that as a cost saving, you should be saying, yes, there is a cost saving, but I'm also going to have to commit my time, effort and energy to ensuring that this person gets really good quality training and support as part of that role. So yes, there's a lovely cost saving.
It is a big
we all like it, but it's a huge commitment. And for a lot of employers, those numbers don't stack up. It's like, I might be able to save £11,500 employing someone as an apprentice rather than employing someone and paying them, an enhanced wage. But the time it would take me to support, to mentor, to have them out of the workplace to learn, doesn't stack up and it doesn't make sense. So for every business, you've got to look at that as a balance.
Definitely.
But I think with those changes in national insurance coming up, with those big hikes in minimum wage requirements, I think it's worth looking at how you're staffing your team, and should apprentices be part of that mix.
So Dave, from April this year, there's going to be changes to the cost of employing people. Can you tell us a little bit more about this, please?
Yeah, minimum wage is going to be increasing across all categories. And on top of that, there are changes to national insurance contributions. National insurance contributions will be increasing, and the point at which national insurance contributions will begin to be paid also increases. So all of these are increases. I know for a lot of employers that I work with, they don't pay the national minimum wage, they pay above the national minimum wage. But what we do tend to see is if national minimum wage increases, then the tier of employees that are earning a little bit more than national minimum wage will expect their wage to increase. And there's kind of a concertina effect where there's an expectation that salaries are going to increase in line with those national minimum wage increases.
What does that mean if I'm employing someone?
The short answer is it will cost more. I can show you with a few illustrations. So if you are employing someone today on the national minimum wage, they're working 37.5 hours a week, which is a kind of a normal working week for most people. If they're on the minimum wage today, their annual salary is £22,300, which is a little bit over that. Afterwards, their salary is £23,790. So that's an increase of about £1,400 a year. From a national insurance perspective, you're currently paying £1,822. That's going to go up to £2,818. So you've got a nearly £1,000 increase in national insurance contributions. Overall, the cost of employing that person is going up by £2,477. So nearly £2,500. You're seeing an increase in the total cost to employ that person. Now, if they're slightly younger and you're paying the minimum wage at 18 to 20, then the increases are even more. The total increase in cost is just over £3,800. That's the national insurance increase, which is more than doubling for someone that's 18 to 20, and then the minimum wage increase goes up by £2,700 for someone that is aged 18 to 20. So it's quite a hefty increase that we're seeing when we hit April this year, April 2025. The apprenticeship minimum wage increases as well. Yep. So that will go up from just about £12,500 a year up to £14,700 a year. So there is an increase in the national apprenticeship minimum wage as well.